Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel.
I'm Ashton, and I'm transgender. This is me. This is my life. I'm not going anywhere.
Today is slightly different. Halloween is approaching, so we have some Ghostbuster green in the background there. We filmed a video a year ago, and we had intended to upload it last year. But there were some delays, and so here we are. We're gonna watch it, and yeah. So now the cool thing is about this video is I was only about 5 or 6 months on testosterone, so that's kind of interesting. What this video is my younger brother making a tombstone with my kids, and I'm the one filming it, so that's why I wasn't really too hands-on, but. Yeah, it was really cool. So I'm just gonna sort of show you what we did, and you can even make one for yourself. It's really quick and really easy. And so yeah, I'm just gonna plug this in, and I will give you a walkthrough once I get it set up. Watch me drop the computer from my lap. Do you have this stool? Okay, so the first thing we did was take a sheet of wood and drop our measurements on there of what size we wanted the tombstone to be. And then we took smaller pieces of wood and we framed the tombstone edges for concrete. So, because it is a concrete tombstone, so it does end up being very heavy. After that, we placed it onto a secure table, something that is sturdy enough to handle a lot of weight, at least, I don't know, at least 100 pounds, 100 pounds or so. And we made sure that all the edges were sealed. What we also did is we drilled 2 holes in the bottom plank of the wood and inserted tubes inside so that when we stood it up, we could stand it up on stakes, metal stakes that we put into the ground. So it's sturdy enough to hold this tombstone up. And so we pretty much, we had those situated inside the frame of the tombstone, as you can see there, so that no concrete got inside. Next, we bought some small pieces of rebar, and we made our cross itself out of the rebar. We took some wire and secured them. We kind of twist tied them together with wire. We've got our rebar right here that is going to go into the middle. Right here. So that it is strong. So once that was secure, we made sure it fit. And the reason why we were using rebar is to reinforce the structure inside the concrete, so that it's just super strong. The next thing we did is we taped the inside. We taped the edges. We taped every edge and seam that was framed in there, in the frame, so no concrete could spill out or seep through anywhere. We also put some tape down onto the bottom of the board there to create texture. And then we actually sprinkled some sand around there as well to add even more texture. We wanted the tombstone to look old and weathered, so that's what we did with that. So pretty much the frame sealed all the cracks, effects like cracks into the concrete. These are for the pegs so that we can stake it into the ground. We have also put sand in there for texture. Right, Gabriel? Right, Heath? Right.
Steve, can I come out there, Heath?
So once all that was taped and there were no open edges anywhere, you can see there's stakes that we hung the rebar off of, so that we knew where to position the rebar once it was in the concrete. We wanted it to be suspended inside the middle of the concrete. So we hung it off of the stakes that we were going to use to hold the tombstone up. So after that, we mixed up the concrete and we actually added some concrete paint in there as well to make it the color that we wanted. So the concrete we used was a fast curing concrete. So I think it was a Quikrete or something like that. I think 2 bags we used for this. And then we added the color, and you can add as much color as you want for whichever color you desire. And we're just getting the water right now. We're gonna mix the cement and put it in. Exciting. So yeah, so we wanted the concrete to be a little bit darker, so we mixed that in there. And then we poured down the first layer of concrete. We didn't fill up the whole thing because remember we want to put in that rebar. So we put that first layer of concrete in there, and then we took a trowel and evened that out.
Okay, now you're closer to it. You can see it better. Let me up there. Mama, gaga, mama.
Excuse
What
me.
was that for?
Get the concrete.
He's leveling
So once that was done, oh, and another thing too, once we had that first layer of concrete in there, we noticed that those copper tubes in there, they were hollow. They kind of tended to want to float. So we had to make sure that those were actually in there. We didn't want them to be angled because you have to put the stakes in, and we want the stakes to be straight inside there. So that would have made it a little bit more difficult. So after we got our rebar situated on the stakes and we laid that in, once that was laid in and where we wanted it, we took the rest of the concrete and we poured that in and then smoothed that out with the trowel.
Busy walking around that.
Ooh. Mom, where are those pliers things?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Hold on. And I can do this.
Too high.
I finished this at like 3.
Yay. Once that is all evened out and all ready to go, we just let it sit. Probably better to leave it for 2 days. But we did ours like, it was the night before Halloween, so we were like, okay, we just decided to do it and we did it. So inside it was still a little bit damp, but it was still a little bit dense, you know, and waterlogged, heavy. But we were still able to work with it. I think as well, it allowed us to also, I'm going to say antique or weather the edges of the tombstone when we took the frame off. With the extra concrete that you can see there, we made little tombstones. So we thought that would be fun for the kids, and they ended up writing RIP in those. We also came back and we checked to make sure that everything was still in place. Before we called it a night, we actually took the stakes, those metal stakes, off because they don't really need to be on there anymore. And you can see there's little wires hanging that are sticking out of the concrete. We actually left those in, and we left those in so that we could attach little lights to it or anything we wanted to attach to make, so when you were decorating outside for Halloween, the tombstone, we could have some lights attached to it, and we could make it look really cool.
It's already getting hard.
Yeah.
Give look. Let me try. Sit.
Okay, so the next day we came in and we actually painted the back of the tombstone. We actually didn't intend it to be that dark. We didn't realize it was going to go on that dark, and we were like, oh crap. But it doesn't really matter because it was the back, so that's a good place to test your color if you're wanting to put extra color on there. So as you can see there, it looks quite dark, but we didn't really care. So, yeah, so my brother took the drill and he reversed the screws there, and then he took a mallet, a rubber mallet, and just hammered the frame off of the concrete.
This guy's loose. He's loose. He's loose. Oh, just take it off there.
All right, we got an edge.
We got an edge.
It's turning like it.
After that, we just hammered the edges of the concrete to make it look like it was chipped and stuff like that.
It's still curing.
Yeah.
It's fast set, but it's gonna take a while to cure totally hard.
Yeah. What do you guys think? After we took the frame off, we stood the tombstone up and turned it around so that the front was exposed. That's actually surprising. It's coming up.
Yeah.
Lift! Lift!
Rise!
Nice. And you can see there that there's still tape and stuff that is attached in there. We just kind of, we pulled that out, and some of it was stuck in there. We just took the trowel and we scraped it out. And it doesn't matter about gouges, you know, because you're making it look old if you want. So, yeah. So we put marks in it, and we put dings in it, and we put this, and we put that, and whatever, however you want to make it look. Cool. 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 It's okay, it's so heavy right now anyway. And then we added, we took the paint with a paintbrush and just darkened the edges and sort of made it look like water and mud and just weathering had stained the tombstone.
Tombstones now? Is it harder? Dry over it?
So we did that, and then we checked to see if the metal pegs fit in, and they did, which is excellent.
We put them into the ground like that far.
This is
And
probably
that'll
gonna be hard.
should- It's 2 stakes pretty deep in the ground.
After that, it was ready to go. It was ready to go to its desired location.
Awesome.
Alright, let's bring it outside.
So we took that down and brought it over to our front yard, and we put the metal pegs into the ground.
Ooh, ooh. Well, tonight it's tell me when to stop. Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the track. Gabriel, send me the camera. No, not. There.
And you know what? It worked wonderfully. So it held the tombstone up. Yeah, gosh, this thing's real. It's a real tombstone. So yeah, it ended up looking really great. We put a pumpkin on it that was rotting, so that was kind of gross. It was dripping pumpkin rot all over it, which I guess adds to it. I guess even the smell. But yeah, it looked awesome.
It's like so juicy.
He's doing a Joker face.
It's all messed up. It's like a pumpkin with no teeth.
Pumpkin.
Don't touch, it might fall. It's rotten. Don't touch, it's gross.
There's still a tea light inside too.
Gross. Ew.
Couldn't get the skeleton down, so I'm bringing a skull.
Skull?
Well, I can get the skeleton down, Heath.
Let's see.
Well, Mom, it's like, yeah, put it like cannonball. Yes.
I'll get that. That has a light in it too. Awesome. Cool. Did you just fart?
Yeah. Hey, Smokey.
And then we got all dressed up. That year I went as Edward Scissorhands. I'm probably going to go as Edward Scissorhands this year again because I'm ADHD and didn't plan ahead. So, yeah. So, I went and got the mail as Edward Scissorhands, which was really, really difficult. So that was fun. Yeah, and then of course there's some pictures of our tombstone and us all dressed up and Halloweened out. It was so much fun. The kids had an absolute blast. Yeah, highly recommend it. Really super easy project to do.
That turned out really well.
It did actually.
Not bad for a day before Halloween.
Day before Halloween project. With concrete, it can be done.
Yeah.
All right, good job, you guys. This looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and honestly, working with concrete and Quikrete is so much fun. You can do so much stuff with it. Yeah, highly recommend it. Have fun building. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a very different episode. I don't know how much different. I think I sound pretty different in that video. 6 months on testosterone, so that was kind of cool. You can also see here my brother's girlfriend, Sabrina, is helping us out there, and we actually taped her to the tombstone frame. That was fun. Oh, she's awesome. I wonder if there's any lights that we can hook up behind this tombstone, Scott. Oh, the teamwork.
The girlfriend is having a teamwork.
My eye.
Look, Mom, look it.
Yeah, so happy tombstone making. You know, the coolest thing for me about I think the reason why I kind of wanted to put this video up as well is because it was really kind of neat to look back at old videos when I was only like 6 months on T, and how things were still so different. So much has changed since then, and the kids have grown, you know, and I just thought it was so cool. And why not? It's Halloween, so I thought this would be really exciting and a little bit different. Yeah, thank you to my younger brother, Scott, for helping us make this tombstone. It was really, really, really cool. He's like a jack of all trades. He can do anything, which is awesome. And thank you, Sabrina, for your help as well. We had an absolute blast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got a little inspired to do some DIY concrete crafting. This one I highly recommend. It is so much fun. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and we will see you soon. Happy Halloween!